You know, folks, Colin Powell, as I call him, spent the weekend in Israel trying to figure out how to open the roadmap to peace without it blowing out the car window. He had brunch with the prime ministers of Palestine and Israel, and CNN is reporting that when the bill came, Sharon did the fake reach for the wallet. Now look, the press is always going to the Arab street to find out what's going on. They always go to the Arab street in the Arab countries. What about the Arabs here? The Arab street here, they're the ones that have to deal with this stuff. So we thought we'd go out and ask some Middle Easterners in this country if they had anything on their minds. Take it to the streets, I always say. So let's check out our first question in my new advice column.
Colin, as an Arab in America, sometimes people look at me like suspiciously. So what should I do to stop this?
You get a sweatsuit, some chains, an Escalade, and just people will look at you and go, relax, he's not a terrorist, he's just a drug dealer. Next.
If somebody yell me in the street about Arabic people, about Osama bin Laden, what can I do?
So when somebody yells about Arabic people or calls you Osama bin Laden, you know what you do? When they say that, you just go, you know, chinga tu madre, then they think you're Puerto Rican. Then, if they say kill Puerto Ricans, you go Zorba, they think you're a Greek. Then if they say kill Greeks, you go kill Greeks, I knew you were a Trojan, you scumbag. Next.
So,
next, please.
Why many comedians make a joke about the Arab people?
The comedians make jokes about Arab people, it means you're accepted as part of the country. You know, it's when they don't joke about you. When they don't joke about you, you gotta worry. Okay? Nobody ever made Indian jokes in the 1870s. Look what happened to them. Next.
Colin, it's hard to meet women. So how can I tell them that I'm a nice guy, not a terrorist?
Your first mistake is thinking women want a nice guy. They want a bad boy. They want a bad boy. They don't necessarily want a terrorist, but it's like a mafia. They don't like the mafia guy, but they want you to be connected. So like you bring your girl over to your house, throw out the old playing cards with all the people and just go, oh, 2 o'clock, my cousin's crazy. You never learn. No, something like that. Next.
Where are you going to bomb next so I can tell my cousins?
That's a fair question, and I'd like to ask you the same one. You tell and I'll tell. Next.
Colin, why everybody here love Israel? Or maybe everybody support to Israel? Can you give me an answer?
He says, why does everybody here love Israel? Why do you support Israel? Well, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's like you guys are the Palestinians. You're in a relationship for so long that now if you leave when things are going tough, you look bad. You know what I'm saying? Next.
Colin, how can I hook up with a girl when they think Islam is oppressive to women?
How do you hook up with a girl when they think Islam is oppressive to women? Here's what you do. You get the Quran, you know, you bring her over, you start reading it, and then you show her segments that you put in there, like an E. Cummings poem or Jeff Buckley lyrics, you know. Maybe John Mayer, you know. I mean, Body is Wonderland. They're going to think that's from the old days because nobody had the balls to write that after 1950, but apparently. Or you could go for like the political girls that want to like be bad and piss off dad. They want to get involved with somebody from the Middle East, you know. You tell them some sob story about how corporations, when you were a kid, you knew it because Dick Cheney pulled up to your village in a Delta 88 Lincoln, you know, and you know, he slapped the village elders around. Next thing you know, you had the only mosque in the village with a Cinnabon on the side. You know, I don't know. You had a Chili's in there, you know, the Baby Macs. This is what I'm talking about. Now, see, folks, that's how it's done. You take a problem, you air it out. And remember something. It takes an entire village or a settlement or an occupied territory to raise a child. You know what I mean. We'll be right back. Let me tell you something, folks. Racial slurs are taboo, and we are in desperate need of new ones. And who better to create them than tonight's panel of social engineers? So come up with a new derogatory term that describes any group of people. Jimmy?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm so glad you're finally tackling race on this program. My group is midgets. The hardest time I have with midgets, they don't seem to like anything you call them. You know, they really aren't happy with anything. And when they complain, they have high, squeaky voices that give you a headache. I've given this a lot of thought. I'm sensitive to the fact that they want to be called what they want to be called. So I made a huge list, and I narrowed it down to 3 names. They can be called Human X, Halfies and or People McNuggets. You make the choice, guys.
Nice. Okay, Laura Kightlinger.
Do you want to sit on my lap?
No, I want you to have the whole because
All right. Okay, first of all, I resent being forced to come up with a sniglet.
Ow.
Yeah. But here goes. Titwit. It's the tit-shaped candy in a bright pink box. No, titwits are those guys that don't make eye contact while they're talking to you because they're too busy staring at your boobs. And when you catch them, they ask,
What did your shirt say?
It says, I know you're staring at my chest, jackass. Thanks.
Great.
It's made it a fun day.
Oh, great. Okay, Todd Lynn.
Yeah, I personally like the slurs we have right now. Why make up something that means the same thing as nigger or redneck or wop? I like to know when I'm insulted. Heel nigger, black cracker, chink billy, none of these have the same effect as the good old slurs. I feel like if you want to call somebody a racial slur, do it. Just remember there's going to be either unemployment or a big ass whooping, depending on who you say it to.
All right. I like those three, though. Chink Billy. Greg Giraldo.
I sat next to a guy in the subway yesterday who smelled like a decomposing flounder. I'd like to call him and people like him bassholes. Also, there seems to have been a wave of Asian guys acting like real pricks recently. From that psycho in North Korea to health officials in China to the kids who killed that bouncer here in New York. We should call these guys wok suckers. As in, hey, I got no problem with Asian people, I just don't like wok suckers. Listen, most Asians are all right, like Mr. Miyagi, he's cool. But Ho Chi Minh, he was a real wok sucker.
Okay. There you go. Now we'll go to me and then her later. All right. Mine would be, for whites, you call them men without hops.
Wait, Colin, let me try that.
Okay, ready?
All right, for whites, let's just call them men without hops.
Blacks. For blacks, the movie ruiners. Latinos, Generation Mex. And the Asians, the tech supporters. Wow. You know what, folks? If we manage to not offend anybody, I'm sorry. Good night.